The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert, and we want to thank you for getting up bright and early with us on this Tuesday morning. Jack, how are you feeling?
Excited. I got my negative results. So I'm
outside and overseas.
I mean, hopefully I get there on time and all that other good jazz. Because last time was a close call. I got my flight was at 1:10, 1:20, and I got there like 12:45. But luckily everything was carry-on, so I was just like.
I was just gonna say, don't they generally tell you there's a cutoff time for your bag? So if you didn't have a checked bag, so I think you were good.
And luckily I was already checked in, so it was basically just covering everything.
Well, that's good.
I have a check bag this time because it's colder, so I need more clothes.
So now you need to get there a little bit earlier. Just a bit earlier. Just so that you can make it.
If not, I'll be back with you guys in this studio tomorrow.
As you can see, Jacky and I are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. So if you haven't already done so, please take a minute to share this episode wherever you're watching. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and write a post on your wall. To those of you on YouTube, go ahead and drop the link in your favorite WhatsApp group chat. And to all of our tweets over there on Twitter, make sure you retweet it. Now, today's feel good topic of the day, we're talking about solo and group travel. So Jacky is going to begin out on a trip. So some of these tips she might already know. Some of these tips she's going to share with you. So make sure if you want to participate in that conversation and share some of your tips with us, that you stick around for that. And later on, I'm going to test your knowledge against Jacky during our feel good vibe of the day for trivia time with Terri. But to get our show started, we're going to warm you up and discuss our perceptions of adulting. So we did ask our Instagram audience what they thought about adulting. So we wanted to know, did you think adulting was more affordable when you were growing up? Our Instagram audience definitely thought so. I can't remember the exact percentages, but majority felt like, adulting looked really different. It looked more affordable in the 90s when we were growing up. So Jack, what did you think when you were a teenager coming up? Let us know what you thought about adulting.
I never really got to know when it came to me asking for money. So I'd be like, Dad, can I have some money? And he'd give me way more than I actually needed. So, for example, I remember going to the MSA fair. Remember this thing?
Yes.
I was just like, Dad, my mom was away, so it was just me and my buddy, my dad. And I was just like, Dad, I want to go to the MSA fair. Can I have some money? And I remember him giving me $150. I'm like, what is this? And you can't spend that at MSA fair. But then when I came home, I was like, here's your extra money. He's just like, did you spend any? How did you get around? This, that, and the other. And I was confused. And he's just like, taxi money. But for him to just.
Yeah.
It was always yes and here. And it was always access. But I don't know. Nowadays, I'm like, how did he just keep giving me hundreds when $100 is $1 now? And he was a full adult. Maybe that's why he understood, here, give us some more, because $100 as an adult goes
very far.
That's a million candies.
Exactly. So audience, if you're just joining us, let us know what you thought about adulting. Did you think it was going to be more affordable as you got older? For Jacky, she definitely had a misconception. Or, no, she didn't have a misconception. Her dad prepared her for possibly the rude awakening that would be when you do become an adult. that money that you have might not go as far. Good
Yeah.
morning to you, Monica. Thank you for joining us. Let us know if you thought adulting was going to be a little bit more affordable than it is when you were coming up. So Janae says, I don't think we realize adulting came with so many bills. If it isn't one thing, it's another. It don't stop. I think,
Especially
yes.
as a homeowner or like a car or like if you own a vehicle,
Yep.
because you can get your oil changed and then you feel something like, okay, my car needs to be realigned, or my bike, why it sounds like that, let me go get a check and oil change. But you don't just oil change, you need your tires changed and you need this done, and it's just like,
When does it end?
and then I still have to eat, but it's me feeding myself now.
I need food. How am I supposed? And now I'm hungry. Like, after you get like a stressful situation like that, you always want to get something to like, calm you down a bit, and then you always
Stress
overspend.
actually burns calories. Don't let anybody fool you.
It does. And to your point and Janae's point, yes, it just feels like it just keeps coming. No matter every which way you look, even you think you got it under control, there's something new that pops up. Now, I want to go back to your dad giving you $150 for the MSA for it. Jason Shirley says, cotton for days. I feel like if you had 150 back then for the MSA for it, you was balling. Okay,
I didn't know. Like, I was so confused. Like, I got to the gate. I actually remember it. And it was like a rainyish kind of day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all going on each other's bikes, like back when you could actually tow people. So we went as a whole squad, and I remember going to pay, and the lady was just like, it was like $5 or $10, and I was just like, I have to break a 50. Like, that's crazy.
She was like, Miss.
Yeah, we were all confused, but now it makes sense because as an adult, $150 is nothing. It's nothing. It's like 150 cents. Like, it's nothing. Here's $1.50. Thanks.
Here's $1.50. Thank you. Good morning to you, Karen Simmons. Let us know if you thought adulting would be more affordable when you were growing up and versus what it actually became for you as you got older. I want to come to this comment from Janae. She says, I always had money in school for lunch every day, went on, then go buy KFC, snack, and of course, either Jack and Jill's or treats. Listen.
I miss Jack and Jill's because I used to go both. I used to walk through, get to Jack and Jill's, and then I walk through town, get a little ice cream, KFC. Was it? Yeah, it was ice cream. That was where the photo place. I think the photo place is across from City Hall.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I remember being in there and then walking around, finding something unnecessary to buy.
And so, even speaking of Jack and Jill, because I walked that way one time, I like switched up my routes when I'm going to town, and so I came across the empty lot, and I just remember I was just looking at these space like, the kids today will never know what used to be in this space. Like, we'll be looking at throwback pictures with Jack and Jill in the photo, thinking, oh my god, it'll be in like black and white too to try to make us feel old. It's not gonna be. It was color photo back then, but still.
I miss the pep talk as my mom was parking the car, like, all right, we're going in here, don't touch anything, I'm not getting you anything, and she'd still get me something.
It's like, why, ma'am? That's also why adulting wasn't what I thought it would be, because it would always be like, we're not getting anything, and then we got something. It's like this misconception.
But inflation is also real too. So something that used to cost $1.50 back then, it's like $10 now. So absolutely no. We got bamboozled, ripped off.
Definitely did. I was just thinking we absolutely did. And so I want to bring in this comment from Carlton Fleming. He says no breaks now. No one gives you anything. And remember when you was a kid, like people would give you a little blind, like if you had the money, you didn't have the money. Sometimes they're like, it's all right, take it. No, it's like, hey, you got the money? Put that back.
Yeah. You know what I think about now, especially because it's the holiday season and Christmas? When you used to get your Christmas cards or your birthday cards and there was money in it, and it's just like, where's that money now? Why didn't you wait? Because you knew that adulting was hard. You should have just been putting that money to the side. And once I hit 18 or 21 or 25 or even 30, and been like, surprise, I've been collecting this since you were born, and I knew that life was going to be a struggle because I'm an adult and you're going to have to eventually be an adult. So here's like 20 grand that I've saved up over your years. And like, honestly, we're doing it wrong. That's what I'm going to do.
I was like, Okay, I bought my niece a gift. All right, that's fine. I'm gonna start putting aside some money for her in an account, and then when she turns 18, it's gonna be the best thing ever for her. I'm gonna also make sure that she knows how to spend it properly, but that's another conversation for another day. I want to say good morning to Anika DeShields. Thank you for joining us. Let us know in the comments if you thought adulting would be more affordable when you were growing up versus what it actually became and is now. And I want to come back to this comment from Janae. She was talking about when you were talking about ice cream. She said it was in a few spots where Mr. Chicken is and where Specialty Cinema is. Yeah, I was thinking of the Mr. Chicken spot. Not I probably did go into and it was in Specialty.
I remember it being in Specialty because I remember walking in and I hadn't seen my crush in a while, and then I found I had seen him again, and I just remember sitting down and yeah.
What, you kissed him or something? I don't get it.
Oh my god, that is so graphic. No, I'm just joking. No. I hadn't seen him, so I used to do bullshitting for the Axolic when I had seen this person or this guy, and I shouldn't say guy because we were children, and I hadn't seen him for years because that stopped, and then I just walked in and was in my Barbie uniform with my friends, and I sat down and we locked eyes, and then we had a chat, and I don't remember what happened since then, but yeah.
No, because you just stopped and you was like, and yeah, I was like, what? Did something like amazing happen that you just don't want to share with us? It was a conversation. Okay.
But we didn't really talk back then. It was like, whatever. He acknowledged me.
Got you. He did. I got you. Yes, back then, different times. Jack and I are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to be back with our focus topic of the day. We are sharing some solo and group travel tips with you, and we want to hear yours as well. So make sure you stick around for that conversation. Jack and I will be right back after this commercial break.
Looking for that fine dining experience? Then Aliana's is the place for you. And it's lobster season in Bermuda. So ladies, get your girls together for a ladies' night out. Book a table of 4 and each of you will get a 10% discount on your half or whole lobster main course. Starters not included. This lobster special is on until Saturday, December 18th. Serving dinner from 6 p.m. Thursday through Sundays. And of course, we have all your favorites, complemented with our specialty drinks and wine list, followed by our scrumptious homemade desserts. Aliana's Fine Dining Restaurant, 106 Southside St. David's. Phone 777-0555 for reservations. For those special occasions, there's Aliana's.
Welcome back to this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terry Tuku alongside Jackie Lemon. And if you're just joining us, we had our feel good topic of the morning where we were talking, well, not our feel good topic, excuse me, our feel good warm up. And I saw some comments come in with respect to affordable adulting back in the day. And it looks like Janae says, that's the thing. We were given money, but not taught how to spend it, save, or budget. We had to teach our kids different. That is a really great point. And I feel like we should definitely do another episode on finances in the future, because it's definitely something that Jackie and I care about. Well, I know I care about it a lot. But Jackie is definitely,
I'm getting on board more.
She's making sure that she's spending her money wisely. And then this comment from Karen Simmons, she says, adulting from 40 years ago looked way more affordable. $1 really went a long way. Penny gumballs, 5-cent chocolates, and the bus was 50 cents. Listen, I remember the bus was $2.
Jesus. I remember it used to be like $1. Like I used to carry my little dollar coin. Yes. And I listened to my mom. We used to go like Baxter's, like not go Baxter's obviously, but she's like, I used to go in there. I used to get this big. They used to have like they used to make like a cone for the paper, and they'll just dump all your stuff in it. And she'd be like, that used to cost me like the equivalent of 10 cents now, like 10 cents now.
Wow. Economics is a really interesting thing. We won't dive into that this morning because this is a feel-good show, and we want to make sure that you have a great morning. So Jackie and I are talking about solo, group, and travel tips this morning. And so we found 2 articles. One article was Vacation U, where they shared solo travel tips, and then the other article was on Windstar Cruises, and they were sharing their group travel tips. So the first question we want to ask the audience are, what are some of your top travel tips? It's the holiday season. Some folks haven't been out for a while or just starting back with their travel experiences. And every airport has a different requirement. Every country might have a different requirement when it comes to travel. So what are some of your travel tips? Jack, you're about to get ready to go. Let's talk about your travel do/don't do, because you told me what you did and what you're about to do. So let's just talk about that real quick.
I go back and forth between either overpacking or underpacking. only been a few times where it's like right on target. So what I typically do is I'll lay out, I get an itinerary. So my friend that I'm going to visit has an itinerary out, and I ask like, what is the dress code to most of these places? And that way I can put together outfits, so that way I don't have to think about it when I'm out there. It's already sorted. But it's cold now, so I have to pack a little bit more. So I was telling Terri backstage that I feel like I overpack, because I'm like, how many hoodies and jackets do I need? Like, I need to just, this is why we're all black, because it's so much easier to make sure everything matches and looks well. So sometimes I'll try on my outfits before I travel, just to make sure that they look good for my overeating body type. Make sure I have the stretchy pants, and then I repack and try to pack it as tight as possible and call it a day. If I can do everything in a carry-on, I am the happiest person around. But this trip requires a few more jackets, so I have to check
bigger stuff.
I was just like, I can't squeeze it. My carry-on's actually like this big. It's more so like I could put it as a backpack.
Right.
But I'm gonna have to take a real suitcase.
And so speaking of your itinerary, so that's one of the group travel tips, right? Is to create a balanced itinerary. And so you've been obviously to New York multiple times. You're going to your best friend, so it's not like you guys don't know each other. But I find it's really interesting when people do group trips like for the first time, and like it's tailored towards one person's interests, ideas, and activities. And it was cool to see this article like mention the fact that it should be a balanced itinerary. Like if it's two people, if it's a group of people, make sure there is activities for everyone to at least participate in and enjoy, versus it just being the person that created the itineraries kind of wish list of things to do.
I mean, I think it depends on the occasion, right? So if we're going away for that person's birthday,
okay,
then it's catered to them. For example, going for Carnival for Trinidad, everybody has the same agenda. Everybody wants to go and fet and party, and you may have a different party that you want to go to. But if you can't, like, you're going for the same vibes. So the people that I traveled with did a fantastic job. I was the last on the list to join. And,
okay.
Talking about not knowing everybody, I probably knew about 3 people out of the maybe 17, and we had a blast because everybody had the same, what's the word I'm looking for?
Idea, plan, goal.
Goal, thank you. It's not really goal I was looking for, but yeah, same goal to go and have a great time, and everybody had a blast. And I still pick these up. But if it's going for, say, a group trip where it's everybody that needs to be included, then everybody has to have input, and then we can go from there. It could be one person that does the main organization, but then everybody can put in their ideas of what they want to do, where they want to go, how they want to do it, and then break it down. And most times it's the best way to create an itinerary is to have a girls' night or whatever, like a gathering at night, bring a little wine or whatever.
Get the ideas flowing.
Yes, because when you're in person, it's way more fun. It's one laptop, everybody can look over each other's shoulder. Yes, do this. No, let's not do that. Bring it up. Let's see pictures. Yes, we're going here. This is absolutely where we're going. But it also depends on the size of the group.
Right. Those are great tips. And so I actually want to come back to the audience because Janae has some tips. She says, pack light. Like Jackie said, if you can fit it in a carry-on, buy a suitcase out there if you're shopping. If that's not one thing Bermudians will do, we will get an extra suitcase to fit the things that we purchased overseas in that suitcase. That is top tier Bermudian antics. Let us know in the comments some of your travel tips. Jackie is probably the travel guru in this duo. And so we want to know some of your travel tips. And then also one thing we want to know is, have you ever done solo travel? Because we do have some solo travel tips. And so we wanted to know, like, have you done and solo is like 100% by yourself. Like, you're not going to visit nobody. You are going to a destination, and you are the only people on this trip. So have you done solo travel? Like, serious solo?
Not yet, because I've had plans to do solo trips, and then I'll tell somebody, they're like, oh my God, I'm coming. I'm like, okay. And I'm not going to turn a company away. I'm like, okay, cool. go taste wine together or whatever. I don't mind, because most people that will invite themselves onto a trip with you are close to you. It's gonna be like your best friend or your sister or your significant other if you have one. But yeah. But coming back to tips, I forgot to say this one is group trips.
Okay, let me bring up the group tips again. Go ahead.
If you can pay for everything in advance before you get there, do so, because sometimes when it's a lot of different payments that's happening, sometimes somebody's going to end up paying a little bit more than the other person, and that can also cause friction or issues. So if you can do something that's more like closer to all inclusive, meaning like payment plans where everything's taken care of, do that. If you're going to concerts, make sure that's all paid for. If you're going to have a driver, make sure that's paid for up front. So when you get there, it's literally just like odds and ends of, say, whatever you want to buy.
Or yeah, like food, or if you have
random drinks that you decide to go to, or a random dinner that you decide to. But make sure that the budget is already there. And I always say over budget when it comes to group trips.
That's a great tip. That's a really good tip.
You think that it's going to be $5,000? Nope. Budget for $8,000. Something always happens. So just make sure. And then also it's best to have the people that you're traveling with on your direct deposit where it's already set up. That way, because Bermudians' cards get compromised or blocked all the time. That way you can still transfer funds to somebody else just in case it becomes an issue while you're out and about. You can be like, hold on, let me transfer you $200 real quick because my card just said it's blocked, and the bank's not answering. It always takes like 2 hours to get through to the bank.
Well, it's always when you're about to, when you just try to make the purchase, and so now you have to call the bank. So it's like, it's not even like it's a convenient time for you to call them, like, and wait the 2 hours or wait whatever time frame it's going to take, because I'm like, I need to make the payment right now. Like, I'm literally saying the cashier. And so right now, there's actually some really awesome group trips that I want to say the article did include some other, but the article included like 10 or so tips, but we wanted to kind of highlight the top 3, I guess you could say. And I think patience, which is what you just mentioned, it kind of just lends itself to even when the car gets compromised, right? Like, be patient with each other. Like, it's not like someone intended for their car to mess up. It's like, not that they didn't come out with no money. It's like life happened. And so we want to enjoy this trip and each other's company together. So let's just, be patient. I think that was a really good tip to kind of remind people of, because we get so focused on the organization and the money and the budgeting and make sure you get to places on time and you do all these activities together. But sometimes you should just need, like, pause
and take a flexible mentality, because sometimes we get excited and gung-ho with our itinerary, and then some days you just want to do nothing. So if you haven't planned at least 1 or 2 days to do absolutely nothing or just wing it, just be prepared that somebody's going to be like, I can't hang.
Right.
I'm not coming.
And so we want to transition to our solo travel tips. So we're going to put them on the screen now, but I actually wanted to come to some comments from Janae, because she had mentioned this when we started to talk about doing solo travel. She had brought up some really great points. So she says, be very vigilant. Obviously, other places don't work like Bermuda. Be careful when posting your location on social media during the trip. Stalk alert. And that's a real big, that's a real serious thing. And I wanted to just touch on this for a while, especially as women. If you do solo trips, obviously, naturally, where you live, there's probably, the idea of making sure you're aware of your surroundings, that your location is secure, safe, whatever the case may be. But when you go overseas, it's even more heightened because you don't know the area, you don't know the people. And so to Janae's point,
everywhere is more dangerous than Bermuda.
And to Janae's point, right? Like, I know we have this culture of, like, doing behind the scenes and showing everybody where you are at the exact minute that you're there, but be very mindful of that, because geolocation is a thing, and people can absolutely cyber stalk you and figure out where you are, and sometimes make it very easy for them to find us. So to Janae's point, be very vigilant.
So what I typically do when it comes to social media, I will use like Snapchat or Instagram's option to just save it. So I'll do all the recording and stuff, and then without actually posting it, I just save it. And then once I get home, or if I'm feeling nice, I sober up and I can actually analyze what I want to post, then I'll post it. So a lot of stuff is like I'm already home on my couch or in my bed, and I'm like,
Right.
this actually is cute. Why didn't I post this? Oh, right, because
Stalk alert.
we're weird.
I want to come to this comment from JD Bird, Jack.
Morning Obi used to be use the app Verifly. Ooh, and it made it super easy to depart. All ducks were uploaded and confirmed prior to the flight.
That is a pro tip because I love a little app, first of all. And if it allows you to like upload all of your docs beforehand, that takes the guesswork. Even now, with all the many documents that you have to have when you're traveling, it might help with that process because it has definitely increased the number of documents that we have had to make sure we have in line when we're traveling. So thank you for that app. I'm gonna check it out. Jack, I don't know if you want to check it out before you travel.
I might. I mean, typically, I like Delta asks you to upload certain things. So I'll upload my my negative and my vaccination card or certificate. I know they had that, but typically, I just screenshot. I have pictures of my passport, and then like so my ID. I have pictures of my actual license, and then I have pictures of my like my safe key and all that stuff in its own little folder, so it's easily accessible. And that way when I go to places that is like, do you have? Yes. Do you have? Yes. Do you have? Yes. And then I check in online so I could just scan and keep it moving. Whatever makes life easier because, anxiety kicks in and just like, this is too much.
And sometimes it definitely feels like it's a lot. And so I want to come to this comment from Janae. She says, also when traveling away from the hotel or Airbnb, make sure you always have necessary numbers and addresses handy. And I think that's not even just a solo travel tip. That's like a general travel tip, right? Because often you might think you know where your hotel is, or you might think it's this named hotel and you just made up the name of the hotel because it sounds right and it's not right. So I like that idea of keeping the address specifically and the contact number, right? Because I think most people, if they don't already, will have like a USCM or they will roam, so you can still make contact even because payphones aren't a thing anymore. It's not the 90s, folks.
So I hope you got that Wi-Fi for the airport.
This is it. And I know it's probably an expense that people don't want to take on, but roaming and or getting an overseas phone number would be beneficial. Like that would be a tip that I would say. The US has some really decent plans that even if you're not there for a month, you can still pay probably less than what you would pay for your Bermuda cell phone for the 2 weeks that you're there. But I think it's really important to have a working device, like a working phone that you can actually use while you're overseas, because you never know what could happen. And to be stranded in the US without the ability to call, it's not easy.
Not fun. Nope. I usually that's usually the first thing I do when I land. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a SIM card. And I used to have one for the longest while, but then and I was paying to keep it alive. And then I lost the SIM card. And I'm like, here, mom, you can use my
Nope.
This is the wrong SIM card. This is not it. You're paying for nothing.
That is frustrating. I actually stopped mine because I wasn't traveling. So now that when I try traveling again, I'll get a new number because I just didn't see the point of paying for a number that I'm not going to be using right now. But it's soon time to get a new number again. Did you have a new number, right?
For out there?
You got your new
No, I didn't get one when I was out there last time. The weather it kept raining, and I'm just like, I can do it without. It's fine. But I was using out there unlimited data is actually a thing. So I'm like, Jess, I need your hotspot, please. So I'll use that. But we never disappear from each other. We were always at each other's hip.
At each other's hip, I love to see. So I want to ask a question around solo travel destinations. Audience, we want you to be involved. So let us know, where would you like to travel by yourself? Obviously, we've shared the tips with you on, what you should be doing if you are going to solo travel by yourself. And we've shared other tips that will just be helpful for travel in general. But where would a destination be that you would like to go for solo travel? Like, where would you like to go?
I've seen a few spa resorts. I feel like that is like the perfect solo trip. Like I'm gonna be getting massages, facials, meditating. Like how they do the what is it, like the yoga retreats or like those retreats. Like I want to do one of those and just go and disappear and meet new people and go to the yoga classes and do meditation and get my massages and float in the water and just.
Is there any particular part in the world where you want to do this mindfulness retreat, or?
I saw one in Costa Rica.
Okay.
And I was thinking about that because it's not that far away. Yeah, somewhere where I don't speak the language.
Okay, that's interesting. Bold move.
Why?
Because like one of the tips would be to make sure you can effectively communicate with the folks.
I mean, the people that need to communicate with me are going to be patient with my Spanish from
high school.
2001.
My high school Spanish.
I know enough to like ask for water, ask for a drink, ask for help. But if I'm going on a spa retreat, I don't want anybody talking to me.
You want to talk?
If I can't speak the language, it's a language barrier. I don't have to say, no habla inglés. Like I legit can't help you. But you can't talk to me. I think that is the smartest thing.
Okay, sis.
I'm only going to be at the resort. And I mean, a scream for help is universal. So if anything happens, the scream will come out of her and the left hook. Yeah.
I totally get it. I know for me, one of the places I have on my solo, the one that's going to start my solo travel is a place in Florida. I can't remember the name right now. It's on my phone. But the reason why I want to do it is because the US is familiar to me. And so I want to do solo travel in a place where it is familiar so that I can kind of exercise some of these travel tips that we're talking about and feel comfortable in the space. I'm not as adventurous as Jacky, so I'm not going to go to a foreign country where I don't speak the language and try this solo experience. I want to at least, be a little bit more aware of being a traveler, because I haven't really been a traveler per se. I've lived overseas, but again, I've lived there. So I was able to navigate as a resident. So travel is definitely a different experience for me. So I'm not as adventurous as Jacky. So I will be going to
English. I spent most of my childhood traveling to South American countries or Spanish speaking countries.
Okay.
And you'd be surprised how many of them actually speak English. They're super helpful. It's like us Spanish speaking Bermuda, to be honest. Everybody's very sweet over there.
Okay, well,
they're protective, and they're so protective. Most of them are very protective, like in hospitality, are protective of tourists, and that they don't let you go anywhere by yourself most times. Like I remember being in DR and saying, "Oh, I want to go to the mall," and he's just like, "Get one of the guy coaches," and I'm just like, "I don't want to," and he's just like, "All right, well, I'm gonna have to stay with you the whole time you're in the mall," and I'm like, I'm going to the mall and I don't want any man telling me that I should buy this or that. Like, I just want to go in and come right back out. And he's just like, fine. So, I mean, it's fine.
I mean, hey, if you love it, Jacky, if you like it, I love it. It is what it is. It's just not my cup of tea right now. And when I come to this comment from Janae, she says, another tip would be to also research the area you're traveling to, helpful to know what's happening. Wow. And I think that's a really good tip too, because I mean, sure, places, tourism authorities, and I just use this term generally, will always sell you the best of their spot, their city, their country, whatever the case may be. But like, Janae says, research what else is happening in the area to, because there's certain times of the year when, it might be a better time for you to go, or they just might be having a moment.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going somewhere where there's like civil war. I remember we were supposed to go Egypt when I was in middle school, and that trip got canceled because war started.
Right.
And then we were supposed to go Cuba, Colombia, and they were having an episode. And I was just like, yeah, so let me know when things calm down, and I'll be there.
I'll be a tourist once again. So speaking of solo travel, Janae says she can't do a solo trip. If she's going to do solo, it has to be a staycation. All right. I'm not against a solo staycation. I am not against it at all. And so speaking of the foreign language countries, Anika the Shield says they all want to practice their English. So I guess it would be a win-win, or it could be a mutual exchange. They could teach me some Spanish and I could teach them some English. But Jacky is the person that will do that trip for y'all that want the solo trip in the foreign nation. Jacky's got that where they don't speak the language. Jacky
Don't
absolutely
worry,
has
they won't
that.
kidnap me. I'll be back.
She talks too much.
I've walked down streets and people have been like, excuse me, you should not be on this street alone. Go back. And I'm just like, and I'm like, well, I'm trying to get to X, Y, and Z, and this is, it's been so many places, and they all escort me to where I need to be, and they're like, you need to stop doing this. And they're the ones that are, and I'll find out that they're the ones that cause all the trouble.
How do you just have this energy for people? I just, you know what? Shout outs to you for doing it.
I don't know. Maybe my energy is just like, leave this one alone.
Probably. So before we wrap up this conversation, Anika DeShield says, solo trips are great. Try it, Terry. I absolutely do intend to try it. I was actually planning to try it last year, but Miss P decided to be a thing, and so travel was halted. But I definitely intend to get some travel, solo travel in the works next year. We'll see how this goes. I actually have a group trip planned with Jacky, so we'll see how that goes. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then Jacky and I will be back with our Feel Good Vibe of the day, which is Trivia Time with Terry. We're going to test your knowledge against Jacky, and I'm hoping that these questions we'll see how this goes. We'll just see how this goes.
Stop.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terry Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. And if you're just joining us today, we talked about some of our solo and group holiday travel tips. So if you are someone who is planning to travel over the holiday, this was an episode for you. And if you have any more tips that you want to share, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Right now, we're going to transition to our Feel Good Vibe of the day, which is Trivia Time with Terry. I have 3 questions to ask Jacky. I'm going to start with the hardest, and then I'll go down to the easiest. So this is what I think is the hardest, and this is my level of difficulty. Audience, all you have to do is try to guess before Jacky the answer to this question. And if you do get the answer right, make sure you email us at this email address. So Jack, are you ready?
Nope.
Okay, great. So this one's a movie, and the person says, he said, you can't decide whether you want me to be a boy or a man. And she said, oh, please, from the same guy who made a midnight run to the video store and came back with Booty Call and Lion King. What is the movie?
Oh, wait, no. It's black.
It's yes, it is a black people movie. It is a black people movie. All of these cards are both.
Pootie Tang. Nope. Pootie Tang. No.
Nope.
Because I was about it.
Let me say it one more time.
Baby boy? No, we're on baby boy. Yes, please.
Okay, so it's a movie, and the male character said, you can't decide whether you want me to be a boy or a man. The female character said, oh, please, from the same guy who made a midnight run to the video store and came back with Booty Call and Lion King. What's the name of the movie? I'll give you a hint if you want me to give you a hint.
Is Tay Diggs in it?
Yes.
Okay, I know the movie, but I can't remember the name.
And Angela Bassett is in it.
Right. Oh my God.
The audience hasn't gotten it either, so I'm going to give it to you. How Stella got her groove back. Oh, look, Anika DeShields got it. How Stella got her groove back. Yes.
Thank you. I knew it was like 2 days ago.
I knew it was going to be difficult to place, but so Anika DeShields, make sure you go ahead and email us. So the next one is a TV show. The storyline is CJ and his family had no choice but to move in with his aunt and uncle after his drug addict wife burned their house down. What's the name of the TV show?
Sorry, say it again.
So the main character's name CJ, and his family had no choice but to move in with his aunt and uncle after his drug addict wife burned their house down.
Somebody got it.
Yeah, Janae got it. It's Tyler Perry's House of Pain. Yep. Go ahead and make sure you email us to Janae. And last one, as we get up
I
out of here.
forgot about that show. I used to watch that all the time.
I imagine you used to watch it and you forgot, but it's okay. Last one. This is a Guess Who, so it's about a famous person. You should be able to get this. I really hope you get this one. The first female Sports Illustrated swimsuit model is.
It wasn't even a athlete. It was like Tyra Banks, wasn't it?
It was. Good girl. You got
That's what I thought. I'm like, they weren't even an athlete. It's for Sports Illustrated, but whatever.
I mean, you know what? We do not discriminate over here, Jack. So shout outs to
Actually,
Anika
you know what?
Shield.
Being a supermodel is hard work. Have you the heels you
Exactly.
have to walk in? I've watched America's Next Top Model. Woo!
Exactly. So I want to just say, reminder to Anika Shields and Janae, make sure you go ahead and email us that you beat Jackie today in 2 of the trivia questions that we had. Don't worry, there'll be more times for other folks to join in. And Jackie, you might be able to redeem yourself on Thursday. We'll see how this goes, because you know it's super early. And just a little compliment for you, Jack. Anika Shields loves your hair. And
He's getting away because it's so long.
It's definitely longer than I expected it to be. But as always, Jackie and I hope that today's Feel Good Vibe of the Day has you ready to make it a great one. Thank you so much for watching and engaging with this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pete House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we trust we'll see you tomorrow for more Feel Good conversations. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.